I was so far manipulated. I was gone, y'all. I was gone. I didn't know any better. My stepdad literally looked at me as soon as the courts let me off probation. He looked at me and he said, as soon as you get out there, he's going to start you.
Here is another story time of a woman coming to share a story of how a child was kidnapped away from her from 8 years and how she got the child back. But she went on to give us a backstory of how everything started. And for me, I find this story very, very interesting. This story is shared so that we can educate and have conversation, okay? Hey guys, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome back to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing fantastic and great. So this video is a video of a black woman who came on to share a story of how she was pregnant for a baby daddy, got pregnant, moved to a different state, have the first baby, she had the second baby, and this relationship was very toxic. How this man or a baby daddy was trying to manipulate her, how she was scared for her life and everything. I find the story very interesting because you guys know you guys love story time here on this channel, but I also feel like there's so much to be taken out of this story and I'm here for it. Anyway, guys, let's go check out the story and then I'll come back and share more of my thought. But you guys know how we do it here. I also want to know what you think about the story down in the comment section. Okay, so go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Okay, so with that all said, guys, let's go check it out.
I'm not going to make you guys wait until tonight. So this is the start of the series to my son, how my son was legally kidnapped by his father for 8 years, when I met him for the first time, and how all this even came about. Yeah, so I got all the court paperwork here as well. I'm going to call him Tyrone. So I met Tyrone when I was 16 years old, and I got pregnant at 17 years old. He was 3 years older than me, so I was 16, he was 19. I ended up getting pregnant, of course, and I gave birth to our son 2 months, well, a month and some change before I actually turned 18. I was on probation, so I didn't get off probation until the day I turned 18, maybe like a day or two after I turned 18. Tyrone ended up having to go back to the Bay Area where he's from. I'm from San Diego. So he ended up having to go back to the Bay Area, leaving me and our newborn son here because he had got into some legal trouble. So he went back to the Bay Area, and the plan was for me to follow once I turned 18. So once I turned 18, my stepdad took me to the courthouse to see if they were going to let me on probation. I was going to go regardless because I was so far manipulated. I was gone, y'all. I was gone. I didn't know any better. My stepdad literally looked at me as soon as the courts let me off probation. He looked at me and he said, as soon as you get out there, he's going to start. I still hopped my silly butt on that Greyhound with my newborn baby. So when we got there, he started that same night. Didn't waste any time. Like, as I want to tell you guys like more detail without disrespecting this woman, because she is the only one in his family that did not do anything to me, and I love her to death. It's his mama. When I first got there with my newborn baby, there were literally roaches falling from the there were roaches falling from the ceiling. He did not make me aware of any of that, because he knew I wouldn't have came. But anyways, things were already so far gone between me and my mom, it was no way for me to even turn back around and go back. So I'm here. So obviously I was like, I had never seen a roach in person before. So I was like, I'm getting into you all over again. Okay. Anyways, he felt like that was extremely disrespectful of me to be scared of roaches, so he stopped me up. I know it sounds funny, but yeah, it definitely was not funny at the time when I was going through it. So his grandmother on his mom's side lived down the hill, and then his grandmother on his dad's side lived up the hill. Like, seriously, I had never seen it before. But yeah, they all grew up on that street, so that's how that happened. So we went up to his grandmother on his dad's side, up the hill, and she said that we cannot stay there together, that me and the baby can stay there, but Tyrone would have to stay down the hill because we were not married and she did not believe in that. So he did not agree with that. He did not want me alone at his grandmother's house because I'm such a cheater and da 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 da. We end up sleeping in a car and then going to the welfare office in the morning to apply for those hotel vouchers. We end up doing that. The 14 days run out for the hotel voucher. So we end up back at the mama's house and we end up living in a tent. Like, I have so many pictures on my social media still of the tent in the background, because we were living in a tent inside of the home to avoid the bugs from getting in. It was that bad, yes. So then eventually we end up getting our own place. He's still like, he's cheating on me, he's putting his hands on me. I'm showing the proof to his auntie. We're gonna call her Teresa. They're all T's, so I gotta keep it all T's. We're gonna call her Teresa. So Auntie Teresa, I'm showing her all the proof. She sits him down and she talks to him and she says, she tells him, like, you brought this girl all the way out here for you to be treating her like this and cheating on her. If you're not going to treat her right, send her home. Send her home. I remember that specific conversation that she had with him. He's like, I'm going to be treating her right, whatever. I walked into the house one day. He left his laptop up. And I saw more of him cheating on me. And up again. Mind you, I'm pregnant at this time. So one of our mutual friends come down, which is my old best friend's cousin, blood cousin. So he ends up coming down and witnessing what's happening to me. Mind you, his cousin, which is my best friend at the time, she was supposed to be coming down and spending time with me. So he goes back. He ends up leaving early. He was supposed to stay there because he just couldn't bear to see what was being done to me in that home. So he goes back and tells her, you don't want to go out there. You don't want to see her like that. She's blowing on my phone trying to figure out what he meant by that. I'm not telling him. Like, I'm not telling her anything because I was like overly embarrassed. I was too embarrassed. I was not the type of person that goes and like vents to people if I know I'm not leaving, you know? He ends up in my stomach, which then sends me to the hospital to give birth to our son early. That is why my children are born in the same year, because he kneed me in my stomach. Him kneeing me in my stomach actually caused an infection. So after I had the baby, that infection created like a sticky paste inside of me, and when my organs were trying to go back into their regular spots, they were pulling on each other because that infection had stuck them together. So I was in excruciating pain. I'm begging him to help me with the baby because I can barely move. He's not trying to help me. He's still verbally and not trying to help me at all. I end up having to call the ambulance so the ambulance can come and get me because I could not move. When they did the ultrasound, they couldn't see an issue because my organs were pulled back into place, but they were still stuck together. So they couldn't see it. They had to go in my belly button with a camera, and that's how they saw it. And then they fixed it, separated all my organs back to their regular place, and then I was discharged from the hospital like 2 to 3 days later, where he started me up again. So there was a church across the street. So I ended up begging him to take us to the church because I just felt like this is my way to get out. So when they called us to come to the altar, I was hoping that he did not come, and he didn't. So when I got to the altar, I whispered in their ear exactly what was going on. So we came up with a plan for me to get me and the boys out of there safely. So one of the members of the church had a nephew who was a police officer, because in California, if anything is going on, they instantly call CPS, and they're so used to like people going back to their that they're starting to just take y'all kids. So she did not want that to happen to me. So we came up with an entire plan. He had school the next day, so the plan was for me to, once he got to school, pack our bags, because I couldn't pack our bags that night while he was there or he would have suspected something. And honestly, I felt like he was going to. So once he left to school that morning, the plan was for me to pack my bags and leave safely. Well, that morning take our oldest son to school with him. So that threw the whole plan out of whack. So I'm telling him, like, no, I was planning on taking them to the park today. He's like, well, we can take him to the park when I get back home from school. I'm like, yeah, no, but like, I really wanted to take him to the park. And now he's hit. Mind you, our 2-week-old son is strapped to me. So the member of the church is outside, parked around the corner, because we already had the time frame planned out. So she's parked around the corner, and her police officer nephew is there as well. Well, when I don't come out, and neither does he at the time, the phone rings. So that was the plan for her to call. And if I don't answer the phone, they're supposed to barge in. So that's what ended up happening. So the phone rang. I tried to run to go and grab the phone, and he snatches it and unplugs it from the wall. And then that's when the police officer comes to the door. Like for part 2, y'all, I'm getting... So this is part 2. Honestly, I thought I was all the way healed, but I'm really having to relive it again in my head is like kind of traumatizing me a little bit. But we're gonna keep pushing through this, I guess. Anyways, so they end up coming inside. The officer ends up talking to him about it and telling him, like, man, you're not trying to go to jail. Let her leave. Let my auntie take her where she needs to go. I'm going to drop you off at the BART station, and you're just going to go to school. So that's what happened. His grandma and his auntie, they start blowing up my phone and, you my nephew and da-da-da-da-da-da. Not even concerned about the fact that he put his hands on me. I'm him in the hand that he hit me with. But forget all the extra stuff. Their nephew is just so innocent, and I'm the problem, and da-da-da-da-da. You know how that go. Y'all know how that go. If you know, you know. So anyways, she ends up just saying, I'm going to buy your ticket back home to your mom. So she pays for my ticket to get on the Greyhound back home to my mom. So that's what I do. I go. I guess one of them or somebody ended up calling CPS, because CPS was at my mom's house not even 2 days later. You know, he's blowing up my phone still, asking to see his sons. And I just felt like no matter what he did to me, you can still see your sons. Like, I don't know. I was young and dumb, y'all. That's the best way that I could describe it. The CPS worker kept telling me, no, don't let him see the boys. But I didn't listen. My mom kept saying, no, don't let him see the boys. But I didn't listen. Like I said, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm a new mom. I have absolutely no guidance. I have 2 sons under the age of 1 in diapers. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't have any help. It's just me. So his cousin, we're going to call her Ray. So his cousin Ray ends up moving to Phoenix, Arizona, where she invites me to come with her and her boyfriend and their kids. And she is offering to help babysit so I can get my first job and be able to provide for my children. Well, when I get there, I'm not going to put her business out there, but it was wild. Okay. That, to say the least, it was wild. I come home from work one day and my son has bruises on his back. They're fighting. They start fist fighting. Her sister jumps in and starts I have her on TikTok. So she jumps in, she starts fist fighting. I'm just consoling my son because I'm just scary. That's what it was. I'm scary. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I'm like, I call the dad and I'm telling him what's going on. And I'm like, her boyfriend hit on baby TY, like, while I was at work. The police end up coming over there and telling me that I need to get out of there because they are bringing Child Protective Services to the house in the morning. So I call my mom. She says that she's going to see what she can do. And then now I have no choice but to call the dad because we need to get up out of there. So I call the father. He says he'll be out there the next day. Well, while he's on his way, because he's driving from San Francisco to Phoenix, Arizona. So while he's on his way, my mom finally calls and says that she's on her way. So I'm like, okay, I think it would be easier for me to have one child versus two children. So I let him decide which child he wants to take, and he decides to take our oldest. The plan was for him to have him for 2 months. The post is still up on my first Instagram, that he was only supposed to have him for 2 months and then bring him back. He took my baby. We're staying in communication. We're talking every day on the phone. We're pretty much co-parenting. If I need anything for our youngest son, he sends it. He doesn't ask me for anything for our older son. But like I said, we're talking on the phone the entire 2 months. I get into a relationship, and the minute we go public on social media is when I'm now blocked and I'm not allowed to talk to my son anymore. I call the police and report him as a missing child. That's when they let me know that this is considered a legal kidnapping because he's on the birth certificate. He changed his number. I'm reaching out to his family. I'm trying to, do everything that I possibly can. Nobody wants to give me his location. I go to the courts. They tell me that without an address, the motion won't be valid because he has to be served, and an officer has to serve him because of our past. So I'm pretty much reaching out to everyone, begging. Months go by, nothing. Now it's around Christmas time. All I ask for Christmas is to be able to talk to my son. So I guess his family gets a hold of him, allows him to call me so I can talk to my son on Christmas. I talked to my son on Christmas for about 10 minutes before he hangs up on me. I didn't hear from my son again until his birthday. His dad calls me on his second birthday and allows me to talk to him for 2 minutes. And then he hangs up on me. He called from a private number, by the way, so there was no way for me to even be able to call the number back. But he allowed me to talk to my son for 2 minutes on his second birthday. Nothing after that. After that, it's just me constantly trying to, make people feel so bad for me that they will do things against their job title. Like this one officer that I was speaking to, she was not supposed to pull up an address, but she pulled up an address for his mother's house. It ended up being his mother's house. So she pulled up an address and she agreed to send an officer over there to do a welfare check on my son. And that they were going to get back to me and tell me if he was there so I could bring that address to the courts. Well, when the officer got there, it was the mom's house. He had absolutely nothing in his name. Everything was linked back to his mother's house where he did not reside. So it was literally, there was nothing that I could do. I had no address. His family was not trying to help me. No private investigator could find him. I hired 2 different ones. None of them could find him, but they were so nice. They gave me my money back because they just felt bad for me, and since they couldn't do anything for me, they gave me my money back. All right, part 3 is going to be how he contacted me years later and allowed me to meet my son for the first time in 8 years. So my son's getting older now. Now remember, I told you guys we have 2 sons together. We have 2. He took 1. So my son that I have is getting older. He's starting to have behavioral issues. I'm reaching out to his auntie Teresa, and I'm like, hey, he really needs a male figure in his life. Like, can you please ask his father to, be in his life? Like, I don't know what to do. Keep the boys together. I'm even willing to give him to his father if you can just keep the boys together, and he needs a male figure in his life. She's like, no, because he's saying that that's not his son. So first time that I'm hearing that he's denying my son. So I'm like, what the heck do you mean? Like, what do you mean that he's denying him? He's like, yeah. I said, okay, well, what about the grandpa? Can the grandpa be in his life? She's like, no, he won't do it without the DNA test. I said, okay, well, you guys take the DNA test then. You guys can do a grandparent DNA test. She's like, no, he's not going to do it because he doesn't want to get involved. He doesn't want to go against Tyrone and da-da-da-da. I said, well, this is his family. Like, what? You named him. Auntie Teresa, you named him. Like, what do you mean? I was so mad, y'all. I was so mad. I was so hurt. I just could not. I reach out every now and again to ask them for help, not financially. I've never asked them for help financially. I'm asking them to let one of these men get involved in this little boy's life, because I cannot raise no man. I'm a woman. I can't raise no man. That's a man's job. Help me. You feel me? So finally, years later, he decides to reach out once he sees that I'm single. As bad as I want to cuss him out and go off and scream and yell, I keep my composure because he's in control and he knows it. If I get one attitude or a sense of any attitude, that's it. There goes my chance of seeing my son. And he makes sure that I'm very much aware of that he's in control. So I'm being extra nice. I'm following all of his directions. I'm doing everything that he asked me to do so I can be able to see my son again. So he ends up allowing me to fly to where he's at so I can meet my son for the first time and he can meet our other son. Before I left, I shared my location with my friend Shawan. I shared my location with my baby mama Damaris. They don't care if I say their names. Shared my location with my sister. I shared my location with a few people. We put a plan into place. If I do not answer my phone every single hour, I am supposed to answer my phone. If I do not answer, they're supposed to give the police all the information that I provided to them. Well, my phone ends up dying on the bus. So I'm actually panicking because I know that they're going to reach out to me. And if they can't get a hold of me, they're going to go crazy. And now the police are going to show up. He's going to get spooked. And he's going to run off with my son again. And I'm never going to see him again. So that's everything that was going through my head at that moment. Like, oh my God, the police are going to show up. He's going to think I'm setting him up. Like, I don't know what to do. So we finally make it to the hotel room that he has set up, and I plug my phone in and I let everybody know I'm okay. They're all calling like, are you good? Are you good? Are you good? Like my phone's ding, 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 ding as soon as I turn it on. I let everybody know I'm good. I FaceTime them like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. You know, it's cool. When I get there, he brings up the DNA test and says he wants to do a DNA test for our other son. I agree. I don't have anything to hide. So he leaves to go and get the DNA test. He comes back. We do the DNA test, and we have his auntie Teresa pick up the DNA test so she can take it to the post office and mail it off herself. That way, can't nobody say I did anything to the DNA test. Can't nobody say I altered it or any of the sort. While I'm there in the hotel room, like, he ends up trying to like cuddle and lay down, and I am scared. Like, I'm trying so hard not to throw up because I'm so disgusted. Like, he wants to cuddle, like he's trying to sleep with me, and I'm making every excuse in the book. I just felt like if I don't do what he says, he's gonna take my son away again. So I'm trying my best without actually having to sleep with him. Thank God my period came right on time. My period literally came right on time. My period is never late and it's never early. My period came an entire week early, and I knew that was God. So my period comes, and that's now my excuse to not sleep with him, but I'm still allowing him to cuddle with me. Like, ugh, I'm getting so disgusted. That's him and the boys laying down together in the bed. That's them. So I leave and go back home, and he texts me this the next day. Well, this is us at the airport when we leave. My son was so sad. He was crying. He did not want me to get on that plane without him, and I felt like, damn, I'm leaving him again. That's how I felt. Well, the next day, he decides to text me this. Y'all can pause and screenshot it, and y'all can read it on your time. But these are all the messages that he sends me the very next day.
You know what, guys? It's flip. I'm going to try to do the flip part so that we can read it. So probably we'll get that done in the second part. So yeah, let's just, yeah, story.
All of this was provided to the courts as well. Like, look at how sick he is. Oops. Like I said, screenshot it, pause it, and read it. He sends me like a freaking 4-page letter. Sorry, I'm like shaking because I'm getting like traumatized all over again. So that's what he sends me the very next day. I'm playing into it until he trusts me enough to where I can get an actual address and be able to serve him. The reason I didn't serve him, well, the reason I wasn't able to serve him when I flew out there was because he contacted me on a weekend. And I was out there that would, like, it was no way for me to go to a court, file the paper, get the motion, all in time to do that. Like, he knew exactly what he was doing. He's very smart. I'll give him that. He's extremely smart. Anyways, weeks later, the DNA test ends up coming back. Of course, the auntie had the login, so she contacts me too. And she's like, yep, turns out he is ours, like you've been saying. Oh, she's like, Jasmine, don't start making your post and going all crazy like, ha, I told you, because you know how you are. Like, first of all, and I told y'all. She's like, I know, you did, you told us. I only have my baby in the car. None of the other kids are in the car with me. They're actually with my sister. So yeah, I'm gonna go handle him, and then I'll be back with part 4 of how they started treating our second son ever since the DNA test results came out.
Wow, guys, that's a roller coaster of emotion. So there's going to be a part 2 to this video. So part 2 will be posted tomorrow. So there's going to be a part 2, and you want to watch. I know you're like me. You can't wait to hear the whole story. Me too. I can't just wait to hear the whole story. But also, I'm also going to read those messages that he sent to her, because we couldn't read it here because it was an inverted, mirrored version of it. So I'm going to try to revert it so that we can read it. But those are long messages, okay? Maybe I'll just put it on the screen for you guys to just pause and read, but those are long messages if I have to read them anyway. But yeah, we're going to still get into the whole story, but I want to know what you think about this story down in the comment section so far. What are your thoughts? What are some of the things you're picking out of it? Please share your own thought, but please keep it respectful. As always, here on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a respectful way. So feel free to share your opinion. But yeah, I love sharing people's story like this, because I feel like this is going to also teach younger girls to do better and be better. And if you know this channel, you know what I stand for. You know that, you know what, we need to start taking care of our children. If you are a parent or you have a child, the way you raise your child, or if you don't heal your trauma, it kind of affects the way you raise your child, and sometimes your child end up being in bad situations like this. Because clearly, how can a 16 years old girl, being loved, being taken care of at home, be pregnant? Get what I'm saying? Like, I have a lot of younger people around me, but that is where it all trickled down. What is that urge that you feel like she needs that love out there more than the love she's getting at home? Meaning something is missing. There's an issue. There's a trauma there. There's a low-key trauma. No shade to this creator. I applaud her for coming to share her story, and her story is going to be like a beacon of light and lesson for other young girls out there. Because when you're young, you make silly mistake, you make stupid mistake. I get it. When like I know I've been young, I've been in my 16s, I've been in my early 20s, even in my early 30s. There are some stupid mistakes I'll make. Some even till now, I think I'm still learning. But I feel like when you have the right people as your guardian, as your parent, you kind of excel and be a little bit better because you have somebody that is helping you navigate life. But when you, as a young person, you don't have who is helping you navigate life, the type of mistakes you make are really scary. And I feel like this is where this lady, she's no longer young, this lady, she kicked it off on the wrong foot, went to jail, be on probation and all that at that young age. What was she messing with? And then I noticed that she already had other babies. Like, okay, I don't know. You guys know how I feel about having kids and all that. You guys know, but But yeah, I had say another thing I was thinking and has been on my head. She said She shared her location with her baby mama. Does anybody know what that means? Baby mama, does that mean she has a child with a woman? I don't know. I don't know. That was confusing for me. That was confusing for me. So let me know if you know what she was talking about when she said she has a baby mama, or the baby mama thing. But yeah, I'm really interested about this story. And another thing I noticed about the story is how most times these men want to isolate you, bring you to places where you don't know anybody, you're all alone, there's no family member, there's no support system for you, you can't do anything, you're relying on their mercy. And for me, I find like this, and then sometimes they also want to use the children as a bargaining chip to just keep luring you back. But before I leave, I just want to say that can we, as ladies and women, can we? I know it's hard being so attached to a child that you've carried for 9 months and all that, but can we also learn how to leave the children with the father? Because they do that to a lot of women where they just walk away, they go live their baby boy life, and they leave the kids with the mother. But can we women start doing that and just, you know what, I don't want to be a mother. You can be the father, have them, and I'm out there. Can we do that? Okay. Anyway, guys, I want to know your own thought about this amazing conversation down in the comment section. But please keep it respectful as always. So there's going to be a part two, and you don't want to miss it. So that's the more reason you should subscribe to this channel. Okay, if you have not subscribed, so go ahead and subscribe and click the notification bell so you get notified as soon as I upload videos. You don't want to miss it. Okay. And before I go on, I just want to say we'll be having a live stream today, and I'm super, super, super excited about it. And I hope you guys join. And I hope this video comes up before then, though. But yeah, I hope you guys join, and I know it's going to be fun. A 2 hours live stream, and we're just going to talk about everything. So anyway, guys, go on and share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go ahead and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see, and that will be you supporting this channel and this girl. Yeah. With that all said, guys, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and I will see you guys in my next video. Deuces.